Campus Africa, equipping our labor force right here on Africa Business Radio towards a profitable Africa.
All right, welcome back. You're still with me, Ngobani Mzizi. We're on to the last segment of the show this evening, and we take across all the way up to West Africa, and we go to Nigeria. And on the line with me is Mr. John Kamara, who is the ambassador for ICE Africa, which is Africa's first gaming event to bring 21 nations together under one roof. That is their payoff line, or that's their tagline. So thank you so much, Mr. Kamara, for joining us this evening, and welcome to Business Today in Africa on Africa Business Radio.
Thank you very much. How are you doing? I'm glad to be here.
No, thank you so much. We are doing quite well, and I hope that our listeners will be able to catch this call because we are making a Skype call all the way to Nigeria, but the line is quite clear. So thank you so much. Let's talk to ICE Africa, about ICE Africa. What exactly is ICE Africa, Mr. John Kamara?
So ICE Africa is the largest gaming event in this continent that is bringing everything gaming together under one roof. So we're talking about casino, lottery, sports, poker, esports, other type of games that are all relevant to gaming across the continent, but also bringing together international potential investors into Africa into one place to also make the local opportunity and also meet the local clients across countries, and also trying to educate everybody about the regulations we have in the continent, and different countries also promoting themselves, and most importantly, the opportunity that exists for gaming in Africa as a whole. And that's both from the international and the local perspective, but also an educational warehouse for everybody to learn something about, how to either run a gaming business, how to be in a gaming business, how to partner up with people, and what is the economic growth of gaming for, the relevance to the African economy as a whole.
I mean, we use the word gaming because that is what it is, but it is definitely no game. It is business, and that's why you guys have decided to put this together. And this is on the backdrop of a very successful event, which was called Gaming Africa in 2017. Just tell us exactly what was discussed at that particular gathering last year, which has now brought ICE Africa together.
Well, Gaming Africa, the discussion was focused around the opportunity Africa, what the opportunity was, where the market was going, what investors would see as a way to come into Africa, how they would come into Africa, and what they needed to do to be able to be successful in the African market, because, we've got over 54 countries, and each country is different, and it's very difficult for you as either European, American, Asian investor to come into Africa and think, I'm going to just go to Africa.
Yeah.
And this has always been the notion that we're trying to dispel in the minds of people, that it's not Africa. It's each country based on its own need, based on its own analysis, based on its own investment protocol, and how to actually enter the market, and the cultural values of the people, and, the dynamics of business of people, and a lot of other factors, from payments to internet data to a number of different things, and also GDP growth in different countries as well. So that was what was discussed last year, that now brought about the fact that everybody now realizes that, the next frontier, as I keep calling it, and the next opportunity for gaming is in Africa, just like the next opportunity for a number of other sectors is in Africa, from fintech to, we're talking about blockchain and AI in the African continent at the moment. And we're seeing a massive amount of investment coming in all the technology spaces who have now begun to understand the value of Africa as a continent, rather than treating us like small kids who just get a little bit of, a little bit of candy. Now they're treating us with respect, that, okay, we're going to go invest in African, fintech space, and we're going to partner with African companies. So the same thing we're trying to do in gaming, to say this is not just something that you come to do fly by night, and it's not something that you come and think, well, I'm just going to come get money and walk away. This is an industry that we want to grow. So if you're interested in growing and also making money, but also developing this, economic fabrics of what gaming is in Africa and how it affects a number of these countries, then yes, ICE Africa is the place to come to. And that's this place you come to, meet people, network, partner, and then decide what the opportunity is right for you, but also learn something at the base level of it. But also for a lot of people who want to work in gaming in this continent, it's also an opportunity to begin to learn, how do I get involved in this industry?
It would be irresponsible of me to not ask this question that I'm going to ask, understanding that, gaming or gambling, as it were, which forms part of one of the gaming segments that you'll be looking into, is quite addictive. So what are you going to be doing, or at least as Ice Africa trying to do, to at least try and speak against people getting addicted to gambling? Because we have seen how dire it can become when people become addicted to this, as much as it may be a business for the entrepreneurs, but for the end users or the people who participate in this particular business or your clients.
So I like the fact that you asked me that question. Statistically, people always look at gambling with this negative connotation. But let's kind of go back a little bit before I answer that question.
Okay.
Alcohol. I did an interview recently with a number of magazines across Africa.
Okay.
Alcohol industry, kills more people than you can actually think about in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The tobacco industry kills more people every day, with numerous forms of cancer across the continent, because people actually, a lot of low-income people continue to smoke as a distressor.
Mm-hmm.
Gaming in a number of countries actually adds value to the GDP of the countries.
Okay.
Yes, there is addictive gaming, and definitely that is a problem. Anything you do in excess becomes addictive. If you love too many women, you're addicted. You have to go to sex therapy. It's a problem. Anything you do without moderation becomes addictive. The same thing gaming is a form of entertainment, okay? And yes, we do know that it can get addictive. So we have what we call responsible gaming.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I've been championing in this continent, responsible gaming. Let us make sure that our kids who are under 18 or under 20 don't start going to places to play casino games or start playing online. Let us check those things. Let us make sure that people who have problems, we can help them with addictive gaming psychology so that they can be able to actually get the help that they deserve. Let us also check ourselves from a regulatory perspective to put laws in places where you don't go and put gaming centers next to churches or schools or things like that. So we do have an understanding of what a robust, responsible gaming value would be for the continent. Mm-hmm. That's basically what I talk to a lot of the regulators about, because, as a business, most business people will never regulate themselves. So it falls on the regulator to regulate the business people and come up with penalties that make people fall in line. And when you do this, the operators themselves will now begin to find the value in actually self-regulating, because they also understand the penalties. It's just human nature.
All right. You have successfully managed to get over 38% of the African countries, 21 out of 54 countries, to be able to attend this particular conference that will be happening, and we'll talk about the details just now. How did you manage such a magnificent feat? Because it's the first meeting of this kind that will be happening.
No, I think we've got a formidable team in SA, who are doing a great work. We've got a great team in London, and then we've got a lot of other supporters across the world. And also, I've also been campaigning as well with the rest of the team, for people to come to this event and support the fact that Africa now has its own gaming event where, again, it's an educational warehouse for us to learn, to understand, and to begin to grow, and to allow this industry to contribute to the GDP of each of our countries, and then also bring FDIs into the country from a gaming perspective. So, and those are the things that have driven a lot of people to want to come to ICE. People want to meet people want to talk, they want to learn, they want to be able to attract people to their countries as well. So the team together, obviously when we first started, we had ideas of what we're going to do, but we're pretty excited that everybody that we've spoken to so far, everybody who's heard about ICE has been interested in wanting to be part of it, or even promoting ICE to the next person. So it's been a great team effort from everybody.
All right, being a great team effort, tell our listeners the details of when this will be happening, the dates and the place.
So 24th and 25th of October, which is just next week at the Sandton Convention Center, ICE Africa launches, and this will be the beginning of years of ICE Africa, promoting the gaming business in the continent. Like you said, we've got a number of countries coming. We've got delegates, over 1,200 delegates already registered. Probably we'll get close to 2,000 delegates coming to the first inaugural event. And we've got regulators from across the continent. We've got Europeans. We've got 91 countries across the world attending ICE Africa.
All right, it really sounds like it's going to be quite a massive event. So it's the 24th and the 25th of October 2018. That's at the Sandton Convention Center right here in South Africa, where I am, and you shall be here as the ICE ambassador. Am I correct?
Yes, I will be.
All right, Mr. Kamara, I hope I will be able to meet you at that particular event. But thank you so much for sharing your insights about this. And we look forward to having this particular industry contribute a bit more into the revenue or into the growth or the GDPs of this continent of Africa.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a great evening, and to all the listeners too.
Thank you so much. Cheers, John. All right, that was Mr. John Kamara, who is the ICE Africa ambassador, talking to us about the ICE Africa event that will be taking place on the 23rd and the 24th of October 2018, right here, or 24th and 25th, October, right here at the Sandton Convention Center in South Africa. And with that interview, it brings us to the end of our conversation this evening. We centered it quite strongly around the VBS saga, but not so much around talking the events of VBS, but at least talking about the regulatory environment that surrounds VBS, as well as the role of the people who are supposed to be responsible and who are charged with governance of this particular institution that finds itself in a very, very uncomfortable position. But as time goes on, we shall see how this pans out, and we hope that the people who have put in their money into the bank will at least be able to get their money back, and with the inconvenience that they would have suffered, at least at some point get something out of it at the very end. I want to thank as well from Saipa, Juliet Powell, for talking to us this evening, and for all of those who missed the Africa Business Report, the podcast will be out again in 24 hours. So thank you so much to everybody who joined us this evening. Let's join again next week, same time, same place, which will be our Political Economy Monday show. Oh, we have 5 weeks in October, so it will be Political Economy Monday, and on the 29th we will have Open Monday, where anything goes. Alternative Monday is what we call it. So we shall see what we delve into when we get into that Monday of the 29th of October. But until the 22nd of October, stay cool. Let's meet again then. And for all of you who listen to this station, make sure that you listen to all our other shows. We've got Campus Radio Africa, we've got Odd Means Business, we've got Manifundi, amongst many others. Download the podcast, download the mobile app, which is Africa Business Radio on Apple iStore, Africa Business Radio on Google Play Store. So, as I'm about to walk out, let me do that which I normally do around this time, as I have then, as I do now, and as I always will. Africa is my home, I love Africa, and God willing, let's meet again, same time, same place, right here on Africa Business Radio. From me, Ngobani Mzizi, and everybody at Africa Business Radio, thank you so much for tuning in. Cheers, goodbye, and good night.
From east to west and north to south, for all your latest business news, tune into Business Today in Africa every Monday on Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.